Alright, so today you guys are going to continue lesson 7, the second part, which is two-way tables. Make sure that you write today's date. You don't have to start on a new page. You can if you want to, or you can continue where we left off the beginning of lesson 7, where we went over target number 1. Today's target, which you've already written, but we're going to write again, was I can analyze data from a two-way table to answer statistical questions. At the beginning of lesson 7, we talked about what statistics were. And pretty much we're gathering data from a population. Remember, we said that a population can't just be 2 people. It has to be a good amount of people to be able to come up with an answer to a question about the population. So we're going to start with example 1. Now, a two-way table looks kind of like the tables that we've seen before, except we have a lot more boxes in them. So we're actually going to use 4 lines down. So we're going to use this line, this line, and then we're going to break these lines into boxes to create the table. So from this table we have a few things. First, here we're going to have the amount of people that do chores and the amount of people that have no chores. So the numbers are going to go in here. Going in this direction, we're going to have people that are female and the people that are male. For those of you that don't know, female are girls, males are boys. So that's all that we have right now. We're given that the females that were asked, do they do chores? 37 of them said yes. So 37 goes here under female and chores. So 37 females said that they had chores. 18 said they did not have chores. So we're going to put that right here. From all the males that were asked, 32 said they had chores. And 13 of them said they did not have chores. What's going to be in the rest of the boxes are your subtotals. And same thing on this side. These are going to be your subtotals. Here and here. So we can find the total amount of people that said that they had chores by adding these two numbers together. 7 plus 2 is 9. 3 plus 3 is 6. So there was a subtotal of 69 people that did have chores. And we're going to add these. 8 plus 3 is 11. That 1 plus 1 and 1 is 3. So 31 people out of everyone asked did not have chores. The subtotals here is going to tell us how many females were asked. So if 37 did have chores and 18 did not have chores altogether, the total amount of females asked, we add these two numbers. 7 plus 8 is 15. Carry the 1, 3, 4, 5. So 55 females were asked. We do the same thing with the males to find out their subtotal. 32 plus 13 gives us 45. There's another important number that needs to be filled, and that goes in this box here. That box in any table is going to be your total. So that's going to tell you how many total people were asked. To find that total, you can find it two ways. You can either add these subtotals, because your total population were made of female and male. So you can add these. Or you can add these. People who did have chores and didn't have chores. Either way, you're going to get the same answer. So if you add these two, 55 plus 45, you get 100. Which is the same thing you get if you add 69 and 31. You also get 100. So we have two categories, the chores and the gender. We have our subtotals for each category, and then we have our total amount of people that were asked. Along with a two-way table, part of our target says that we need to answer statistical questions. So our first question that we have is A. What percentage of those asked were female that had chores? So here it's asking us to find a percent, and then one of the clue words that you want to remember to look for is the word of. Right after the word of, you're going to have a percentage. Remember, we can write as a fraction. The bottom number is going to be what that of tells us to look for. So of those asked. Those asked means our total. So that 100, our total, goes on the bottom. After that, the word were is a clue as to what the number on top of the fraction is going to be. So here we had female that had chores. Now we have a total of 55 female, but I don't want the 55 because I only want the females that did have chores. So in this case, I'm only looking for the 37. That number is going to go on top. Now we're ready to turn this into a percent. For those of you that know your fractions, you can go straight to the percent from here. Or you can use your calculators and divide 37 by 100, which gives you 0.37. And to turn a decimal into a percent, you just move the decimal twice to the right, which turns into 37%. So now you answer the question. What percent of those asked were female that had chores? So you write 37% of those asked were females with chores. We're going to try another question. Our second question, B. What percentage of males did not have chores? Okay, so here we're going to do the same thing we did for A. We're going to look for the word of to tell us what number is going to go on the bottom. Here's of, and we have males. Now notice it just says males, so I want the subtotal of males. Looking back at our table, our total amount of males were 45, so 45 is going to go on the bottom. And this one doesn't say were, but the rest of the question said did not have chores. So now we're looking at the males that did not have chores. So here's the males. Those that did not have chores is right here. So that 13 is going to go on top. Now we divide 13 by 45 to get our decimal. You should get 0 point something. Go ahead and try that on your calculators and then convert that into a percent. So go ahead and divide, write down the decimal, and convert that decimal into the percent. Now the thing with this decimal is that it should go on. You get 0.288 and the 8 continues. Just how we did before, we only move the decimal twice to the right. And because we are just gonna stop it at the 28, we're gonna write approximately 28%. So approximately 28% of the males did not have chores. Right, you guys are going to try one. What percentage of females did have chores? So go ahead and try it just like how we did B. To get the number underneath the fraction, here's the word of, and we're looking at females. So in our table, our total amount of females were 55. That number is going to be our denominator. And specifically from those females, we want to see how many of them did have chores. So going back up, here are female, and 37 of them did have chores. So 37. When you divided 37 by 55, you should have gotten 0.6727, and the decimal continues. Moving it over to the right twice gives us approximately 67%. Right now I'm at the bottom of my page, so I'm going to turn over. For example 2. We're going to have another two-way table. Okay, our categories here are left-handed, and right-handed, and again we have female and male. We're given that 46 female are right-handed. So 46 female are right-handed, so that goes here. We're given that 5 male are left-handed. There was a total of 12 left-handed people. So our subtotal for left-handed is 12. And they also give us that the total females that were asked were 53. So our total amount of females that were asked were 53 of them. Part A is fill in the table. So just a reminder, I'm going to turn back to example 1. The way that we got 69 was by adding 32 and 37. To get 31, we added these two. So these were our subtotals for chores and no chores. These two were subtotals for female, so we added these. And this one was subtotal for male, so we added those. To get the grand total, we either added these or these. So going back to number 2, we have to fill in those blanks. This plus this should have given me this subtotal. So you got to think what number plus 5 would give us a total of 12. And the correct answer is 7. Now we can't do that over here because we don't have a subtotal. But what we can do is, oh, I forgot to write down a number. You're also given that the total is 121. Forgot to write that one down. Okay. So 7 plus 5 is 12, so that's how we got that 7. This 121 is going to help us get this subtotal of right-handed people and this subtotal of males. We can start with either one, it doesn't matter. So let's go ahead and do this one. These two subtotals should add up to 121. So to get the missing piece, we do 121 take away 12. Go ahead and use your calculators and subtract. And you should have gotten 109. I'm going to do that one in red. And then to get this one, 53 plus this number should be 121 because this is our total. So again, do 121, take away 53, and use your calculators. And you should have gotten 68. Now to get the last box that's empty, there's a few ways to get it. You can either go this way and understand that 46 plus that number gives you 109, or you can go this way and do 5 plus this number gives us 68. For me, it's going to be easier to go this way because the numbers are smaller. So 5 plus something is 68. So if I do 68 take away 5, it should give me the answer of 63. And if I add these two, it's going to give me 109. So just to double check. Alright, next part, B. What percentage of females were left-handed? Okay, so using what we did before, here's my of. I'm looking at females. So my total amount of females here is 53. And from those females, we're looking at those that were left-handed. So in our females, left-handed females, there were 7 of them, so that's going to go on top. Divide using your calculators. And you should get 0.13 with some other numbers. Remember, we're only moving the decimal twice though. So as a percent, we have approximately 13% of females were left-handed. Try B. Sorry, try C. What percentage of right-handed people were male? Go ahead and try it. So our denominator for this percent is going to be right-handed people. So looking at our table, our total of right-handed people were 109. So that should have been your denominator. If you didn't get 109 on the bottom, go ahead and change it now. And we're looking at from those, how many were male. So from the right-handed people, male was 63. So 63 is going to go on top. When you divide these, you should get 0.57 something, something, something. Moving that decimal over twice gives us approximately 57% of right-handed people were male. Just a little note before we do one more problem. Sometimes instead of the word percentage, they're going to use relative frequency. These two terms are the same thing. So if you see a problem where it asks you what is the relative frequency of right-handed people that were male, they're asking you what is the percentage. So if you see these words, it's the same thing as percentage. It's the same thing we're doing now. So keep this in mind. Alright, last problem. Number 3. You guys are going to try this one as a class. From the class, you're going to gather information to fill in the table. So I'm not actually going to give you guys the numbers. You guys are going to count in the class how many belong in each box. So our first category is sports. And to make things easier, because a lot of people define different things as sports, it's going to be who plays a sport like on a team, like either for the school or in a league. So if you just play sports for fun, that wouldn't count. Like it's legit on a team. So our first category is play a sport. And doesn't play a sport. So it's our first category, playing sports. Our second category is we're gonna stick with gender. So female and male. So first thing you guys are gonna do is ask all the female, and don't mess around, females or girls. Female, how many of you guys do play a sport? And you're gonna count them up, put that number here. And then ask the females, how many of you guys don't play a sport? Put that number here. Then go around the room and count the total amount of females and put that number in the subtotal. And you're going to do the same thing with the males. All boys, how many of you play a sport? How many of you don't? And put the total amount of males here. Once you're done with that, then you can have your two subtotals here for how many total people play a sport, how many total people don't play a sport. And then make sure you have your grand total in that last box. That should be the amount of people in the classroom. Not including your sub, unless your sub wants to be part of it, then that's fine. Once you filled in the numbers, you're going to answer this question. What is the relative frequency? And we just went over what that means. Of males that play sports. So go ahead and ask the females and the males how many of them play sports. Get your total and then answer the question. Go over the answers together. I can't help you because I don't know how many of you do and don't. So with your sub, make sure that you go over the answers together to make sure everyone has the same answer. And then once you're done, go ahead and update your notebooks. This is the end of lesson 7.